See you all.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Guess what? I am so excited to share with you this news. We are presenting iconic dinner and dance on the 28th of June in France. Come on, let us support, and there's gonna be lots of different surprises. You don't want to miss out. We are 28th of June, Saturday. See you. Yes, you see. Please.
But then you want to see me dinner, so I just want to tell you say we had they come with them all white iconic event. Again for be Saturday, June 28th, live inside France. In order for funny, of course, we know say anything when our Bible and Shen be in the one. Now top notch iconic. You understand what I mean? Don't forget June 28th, live inside France. We are with them all white iconic event.
Me not so clean cakes, man.
I don't stress.
So man, a clean cakes, man. What? Anyway, me will see me so I dey support we are. I dey subscribe to we are. I dey watch all them program. They know enough. Enough. Saturday, June 28th, make them possible for Canada, France, capital city of European Parliament, for can support weird, iconic white and dinner dance. Trust me, you get to be one of a kind because you get to get the opportunity for meet and greet by Blue and Sebepia. But guess what? King Amidi, by Blue and Sebepia, una if una see me white, una the true una white say June 28th, capital city, King Amid.
Yo, what up, guys? What up, Black Lion Terry here, man. Guys, something big is happening in France. Saturday, June 28th, man. Come through, man. Come out in numbers, man, and support Vibration. But Pierre, all white party, man. It's gonna be something elite. It's gonna be something epic, man. You really don't want to miss that. If you miss that, well, now you miss so. Come through, man. Let's have a good time, man. Black Lion Terry D. Stay blessed.
Hey, yo, hello, me family then. Me salon people then. On the 28th of June, right inside France, Strasbourg, we have they present the iconic white party, dinner white party, the 28th of June. So I want to say all my friends, my fans, and my family, and my salon people, them, when I'm going to support Bible and say me peer, you know now, people strictly for the ladies.
If you happy to meet we are, clap your hands. If you happy to meet we are, clap your hands. If you happy to party with we are, pay for your ticket. If you happy to party with we are, pay for your ticket.
From the long we rise, why aren't we to shine? Bringing light, holding truth, we the fight for time.
Motikaba, where they can talk on within our government's position on the partial visa ban where the US president don't put pansalon in other countries there. But before we can talk about that, the Minister of Foreign Affairs been just come out represent His Excellency the President na the ECOWAS summit and safe. It be just co-chair the 13th C10 ministerial meeting will be upon na Lusaka inside Zambia. Usai they adopt the Freetown outcome document. Usai they endorse the AU reform model and other things. Them we can start for talk first about Sunday. Then later we can now as the state government in position on the partial visa ban where the US State Department put pansalon and some other West African country them. Good morning, one more time, Mr. Minister.
Good morning.
All right, I just don't tell we viewers them about two important meetings that we just come on represent His Excellency the President himself, represent Sierra Leone as a country. Firstly, let's start for talk about the ECOWAS. Also, I go represent His Excellency the President, also other heads of states then be meet. And one of the people that we be meet with, now the President, na Liberia, also wanna talk about many issues there, including the Yenga issue, when I born in issue now between Salon and Guinea. What are some of the issues that we come out now then negotiate discussion then day?
Thank you very much. ECOWAS then passed a treaty of countries them way then the ECOWAS community on the 28th of May 1975 in Lagos, where incidentally this year it marked the 50th anniversary of the Economic Community of West African States. The initial purpose where they formed ECOWAS was after colonization in the 1960s, late 1950s, 1960s, throughout 1970s. Many of the African countries have been get for gain independence from the Western colonizers. But before the colonizers them come, Africa, especially West Africa, we been on get different successive kingdoms, and it shows say we been on the interact, we been on get integration among we serve tribes and kingdoms and all of those. And so after colonization, the African leaders then, pioneers like President Gowon, former President Gowon, Yakubu Gowon of Nigeria, Shaka Province Stevens of Obonye of Cote d'Ivoire, many of these West African leaders then can say for make we able to survive as a region and increase trade and ensure say we get a true liberty, true independence for provide for people and ensure say there are many opportunities we all go work together and bring to the people them. In the course of these 50 years, ECOWAS don't do quite a lot of things. And Sierra Leone, incidentally, now one of the very direct beneficiaries of this integration effort we come about from 1975, we make in 50th anniversary this year. The leaders of ECOWAS may meet now Lagos for reenact the signing of the treaty where been take place in 1978 on the 28th of May this year, in the presence of the only living legend, the only surviving head of state where been dead in terms of the then President Yakubu Gowon. And so His Excellency the President been get for appoint me for representing in that celebration of ECOWAS's 50 years with the heads of state them. And it was a very somber moment, and one of Sierra Leone's contribution to the discourse was the gratitude expressed for one, the immense integration inside West Africa movement of people, goods and services, and also the contribution in terms of military intervention where ECOWAS member states them and contribute towards restoration of democracy and peace in Sierra Leone. So it was a very somber moment, a time of reflection, especially now that we're in a very difficult world. We get some of the members and we don't secede, don't form, for example, the three countries of the newly formed Sahel states, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. So there was a reflection, how we will get back this member state then for join ECOWAS, as we're confronted by many challenges, old, new challenges in the 21st century.
For Salon, most people will go here, they can see waiting exactly the camp Salon being participants or being part of the kind ceremony today. Waiting come back home.
If Sierra Leone was not a member of ECOWAS in the 1990s, ECOWAS was not for can Salon for can intervene and restore peace and democracy and the lives of many West Africans, Nigerians, Guineans, Malayans, Ghanaians. They're all kind of this country in the 1990s and end of 2000, early part of 2000 for restore peace and democracy. If we were not part of that, for don't happen. And also, you take your passport and go to any other West African country now freely. So that's all now the benefit of being part of ECOWAS. So we cannot, in fact, overstate why it is important to be part of ECOWAS. And as every organization we belong to, milestone then get for be counted and celebrations. People get for reflect and see how they go put strategies in place for the future of that organization. And so every Sierra Leonean, I believe, value the fact that we are an integrated member of the ECOWAS community.
When we talk about Yenga, because many a time we can still say the issue they come up where it's a quiet back, but na issue we don't do for a very long time. How you don't try for engage your counterparts in Guinea and or maybe the Mano River Union for ensure say they intervene in this long-standing issue between Salone and Guinea under President Bio in tenure, Lona try for put to rest.
In fact, Yenga became an issue because under the ECOWAS arrangement and the bilateral relations we'll get with Guinea, relationship we'll get with Guinea during the war, we know say, I mean, the Guineans came to Yenga for help with the war, and in other words, for create a buffer so that the rebellion no go enter Guinea from that end axis of the country. Of course, this is a persisting, is a very persistent issue. We don't do for the past 20 years, and of course, we don't get escalation in the few years since the Guineans then cross over the Makona River and then build and camps them in the Yenga territory. We have many actions have been taken. The very recent action where the Guineans then take way come when the army of Sierra Leone got the intelligence say them been a camp for camp, past night place where they call Sokoma. The army also been therefore put resistance for stop them, not for advance further. Not least because that happened right on the day of independence. So it's really something very disturbing, both for the people where they live there and for the health and sovereignty of a country. Many actions don't be taken, in terms of diplomatic engagement from 2002, President Kaba and regime, they don't engage on serious diplomacy at bilateral level, and also during President Koroma, former President Koroma in time, there were serious engagement. Forces, the Guinean Armed Forces and Raslav, we escalate them once again to ECOWAS. In fact, that has always been with ECOWAS, but ECOWAS and AU through the African Union Peace and Security Council and the ECOWAS security infrastructure, we've all decided that this is real, an existential problem, a serious problem. It keeps coming, so we explore beyond the regional mechanisms beyond them regional organizations for find a lasting solution to it. Guinea is our sisterly country, irrespective of this isolated and not so glorious and pleasant annexation in Yenga. But what we're doing, in fact, there's a mediation meeting, a security and mediation meeting coming up in this June in Abuja, where Yenga is one of the topics we go for pattern on Sierra Leone. And it is very likely that the Guineans, albeit they are suspended from the ECOWAS, from ECOWAS right now, but at technical level, Guinea is represented. And the reply we'll get from ECOWAS, it shows that Guinea will be invited to that meeting where ECOWAS will suggest to Guinea and Sierra Leone for going to the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. The ICJ is the terminal jurisdiction for arbitration, international arbitration between nations. So I think in a sisterly fashion, we will go the ICJ, the Attorney General and the legal team. They prepare advice for His Excellency the President, and after that we'll go. We also don't take this thing to the Secretary General of the United Nations, because bear in mind that we also deny Security Council under Article 35 of the UN Charter. We can use that means for also make this report. But eventually the ICJ, Nanga for intermediates, do arbitration, and where both countries agree, and then come out with a decision.
Mr. Minister, what do you say to somebody where all the views say all then diplomatic steps there, so government after government don't they take them for a very long time, but the Yenga land issue continue for be a problem?
Diplomacy is not a thing where they take gun and go shoot, and that is never going to be an option in case of Yenga. Sierra Leone, a country we don't come up from war. We all get the scars of war. And Guinea is a sisterly country. We are connected culturally, historically, and economically. And fortunately and unfortunately, Sierra Leone only has two neighbors. Encircled 60% of landmass encircled by Guinea, and less than 30 or maybe about 30, and bordered with Liberia. So under this situation, diplomacy is the only and most viable option. No matter how long it has been, going to the ICJ will get a verdict. For example, quite recently, there was arbitration between Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. The verdict is passed, and a few years ago it was between I beg your pardon, it was between Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. So these are common things. There's always going to be border dispute because these are not, these are boundaries that were set by colonial masters when technology was not even pervasive. So we always have to do them contestation here. But I believe, that final arbitration, mediation with the ICJ will bring this matter to a closure. Strongly, I believe that Yenga is the territory of Sierra Leone, and I'm very confident that the adjudication will bring in a very positive outcome for the people of Sierra Leone.
Diplomatic negotiations and they happen for over 20 years. If you not be able to solve, how different this particular strategy be where you think it will work this time?
That's what I'm saying. We don't engage at Mano River Union level, at bilateral levels between the two countries. ECOWAS in the past, we don't send people them for come, expert them for come also, check and come out with, we come out with an outcome for sure, really looking at the depth of the conflict and how to go about them. The African Union also been sending a team of experts then. So all of these sub-regional, regional and continental organizations have actually come and they don't also give their own input into this matter. But what is different from this now is the intensification of the diplomatic effort, taking it beyond the continent to the final arbitral court, when at the International Court of Justice, where we all are a party to that International Court of Justice. So Guinea and Sierra Leone, through ECOWAS, we therefore agree, say we for going to the ICJ, forget an arbitration, so that ICJ will get a final verdict on that. And I believe this is now a different level. We've accentuated it to a different level, to the highest level, and I believe there will be a payoff.
Any time frame they will not look at?
Well, for execute a legal process, it's not something where they do just instantaneously. You get to put your document them together, and the legal process get to take a little bit of time. But yes, we're very concerned that there's an infringement on the territorial integrity of our country, and every Sierra Leonean must be peeved over that, because now an outright, in our view, now an outright, aggression against we, but nonetheless, we continue to keep things within the realm of peace, because Guinea is a sisterly country to Sierra Leone, and we cannot afford at this very difficult time of the war and we passed for going to conflict between neighbors. That will be counterproductive.
As you said, don't say aggression on Sierra Leone. Popular opinion out there now that this issue continue to be a problem because Sierra Leone not get the might for even take on Guinea, if not upon war safe, even at the diplomatic level.
What do you mean? In diplomacy, not to fight with the fact. We produce per fact, we lobby for understanding, and we get result on a win-win for both the other part on the other side of the divide and on their own part. So when it comes, I'm coming. When it comes to people saying the strength of Sierra Leone has a functional army, very experienced army, but we're not going to war just because everyone is clamoring. Look, one of the best definitions I don't get about patriotism, in my own view, is that everybody in the country will say they're patriotic. Is the patriotism practical and genuine? Now, when we say then they come further for advance into Koindu, the army, in its wisdom, in its strategy and planning, therefore send platoon of soldiers, wouldn't go and Sukuma, they put a resistance. When the Guinean forces came, then realized there was resistance. They made 3 volleys of shot in the air, but the Sierra Leone soldier, no, they take it and deploy at that place there. We're determined to protect the territorial integrity of our country, but it will not be through arms display and all of that. It will not be good for anybody, not least the government.
The opinion of the Guinea might over Sierra Leone come because during the regime of former President Koroma, Usiusai and the former president na Guinea, Alpha Conde, they've been going at this place, gets existing communique, but with all this existing communique, we might be part of the fact where they refer to say Salon gets for proof, yet still Guinea continue for invade this territory.
Everybody holds on to what they believe in. The mightiness of a country is not determined by the weapon. It's about the freedom and opportunities of them people and they enjoy. So I'm not going to that comparison of whether Guinea is mightier than Sierra Leone. That's not the case here. You cite former President Koroma in effort with Alpha Conde. This was also the case with Lansana Conte, with Tijan Kaba. Like I say, it has been at that bilateral level. But we all are a party to the International Court of Justice. That is the final arbitral court where they intermediate and arbitrate between countries that are parties to that particular court stay. And this is where we're going now. We're taking it to a different level. The outcome, whatever the outcome may be, Sierra Leone will accept it and Guinea will accept it. And it will create the opportunity now for full implementation. That will include, of course, favorable outcome for Sierra Leone. We're going to include the encampment of Yenga and, of course, government for make investment and make Yenga attractive for being Sierra Leonean territory rather than, for example, the other part of the divide, which is Nongoa in Guinea, for become more economically attractive to the Sierra Leoneans than they on this part. In any case, like when this thing has been coming, the president always say, you know what, I think because Kailaon is very far away from Yenga compared to how closer Nongoa, which is a provincial big city, is to Yenga. So it's always creating that attraction for economic activities, and also be aware that the same people were there in this Yenga and Kisiten territory that they in Nongoa. So despite the at this national level, the people got cultural family ties and then do exchanges irrespective of what is going on. And so, but that security has to be guaranteed to the people.
Looking at Sierra Leone now, at the international stage, you go agree, say quite recently, Sierra Leone don't they go through under some scandal. We look at the international media, how they don't they report about Sierra Leone in terms of cocaine trafficking, in terms of harboring fugitive here in Sierra Leone, and the recent one again that they all get for do with reports that the Sierra Leone authority them no want for release this drug fugitive to the Netherlands government for so many crimes they wait for stand trial with. According to BBC, they don't even go as far as for confiscate some of his property. They wouldn't believe say it don't buy with all these drug trafficking way they do in the world. How it like for be a foreign minister for Salon amidst all the scandal there?
I am very, very thankful to God and to President Bio at this time when the world is basically changing. My 2 years of being Minister of Foreign Affairs, I don't see this world, the global system don't become very upended. It don't change dramatically. And I feel proud that Sierra Leone is in the Security Council. Sierra Leone is in many of these multilateral institutions, making very good waves of news. Where really, it make me feel very proud as Minister of Foreign Affairs representing the country and being more or less a messenger for His Excellency the President, who is the chief diplomat of the country. And these isolated issues, you say a drug fugitive or the authority, them very reticent for surrender to whoever, I don't know. I don't know if any authority is in possession of any drug fugitive. Let's get that clear. It's not my responsibility as foreign minister for chaperone anybody that is considered a fugitive. I don't know about a fugitive. I don't know where a fugitive is. And that is not part of my job.
Where say the Netherlands?
The Netherlands. I'm coming.
Request to UNA government.
No, I'm coming. The Netherlands government made a request that they're looking for a fugitive, where they say an image resembling that fugitive is in Sierra Leone. The Law Department, the Attorney General's office is in constant work with the Netherlands Justice Minister. My role at that time was the conveying of that diplomatic message from the Netherlands government to the government of Sierra Leone. that is under the purview of the Attorney General for deal with. Now you talk about drug trafficking and all of that. I have never seen any individual in Sierra Leone who they don't hold with exhibits say, you don't hold you with this drug, save the incident that happened in Guinea when drugs were found in a diplomatic vehicle belonging to the embassy of Sierra Leone. So let us don't create an image of this beautiful country as if we have become some kind of an El Dorado of drug trafficking. It is disservice to this nation, to what we're doing internationally and what we're doing to promote our country, make it fit for investment and provide opportunities for the people of this country. Our patriotism should be mindful of the image of our country. Yes, there are challenges, and those challenges will always exist, but efforts are being made tremendously for address those challenges, make our country safe for people them, and make our country attractive. We're doing a fantastic job out there. You made mention of the C10, 13th Ministerial Meeting in Lusaka. 20 years of the C10, which is the Committee of 10 Heads of State and Government of the African Union for the reform of the UN Security Council. That responsibility belongs there on the government of Sierra Leone. President BOA took over in 2018. We have run with this reform process, garnered quite a lot of international support for the Common African Position. President Bio dedicated Sierra Leone's rotational presidency of the Security Council last year, August, for promote the reform of the council. All other major countries in the world have reverberated with this news, and that is why today we're pushing the AU reform of the Security Council. Just last week, Sierra Leone was elected to the ECOSOC of the UN for another 2 years. Sierra Leone led a delegation to Guinea for the transition because in May, Sierra Leone, as chair of the African Union Peace and Security Council, I instruct me, Ambassador Addis, Ambassador Safa, for come with a high-level African Union delegation to Conakry for help with the transition in Guinea. So no matter how small we are, what we're doing in the international stage is so tremendous, and Sierra Leone's name is an imagery name out there. Save for these ones who we take here and there in our country for make we look bad when we are really a thriving nation out there.
Like you say, an image in name na the world, and this make people concerned where issues that can come up, where you want to sustain the reputation of the country internationally. Still on the issue we get for do with Bello Josh, when this news been broke out, a lot of debates been the way people been believe say government not go ever come out with a conclusion as to waiting the investigation probe. In your capacity as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, what do you go tell the nation saying the latest updates regarding that investigation there?
Like I said, my role in this, promoting the image of the country, and foreign ministry being the conduit for diplomatic communication between nation states. Yeah, when this information, the government of Sierra Leone is not accused of harboring any fugitive. The government is you, it's me, it's everyone in this country. Individuals may have been involved in one or two things. We take responsibility as a nation, and the government is asked to help. Yeah, but first and foremost, there's no wherever and whoever they're talking about. The processes, if government don't lay hand or get for lay hand on that person, yeah, there are processes, and those processes are going to be judicial, and that is exclusively with the Ministry of Justice, and we have a very competent Attorney General who also is very much engaged in all of those issues. And I remember a few months ago, he was supposed to go to the Netherlands, I believe say go, and he's been in constant communication with the Dutch foreign minister. And also, look, let's get this straight. Quite recently, there were very inglorious founds where they make in this country say the materials that wouldn't they make those harmful kush drugs in this country. Not where they come out, they are inorganic materials. And those materials are coming from countries that have been identified, like the Netherlands. These are all areas where we serve the raise concern, say, for strengthening bilateral relations. We now make effort for block these materials coming to our country. So the issue of a fugitive being in this country or not, government is responsible. We are all government. We're all very mindful for the image of this country. Everything we can do to protect the image of this country, we will do.
If you follow the news, it clearly they show say the Netherlands government they raise concerns, say the Sierra Leone authority they be very reluctant for hand over this person where them believe say like the fugitive where then they look for.
If the Netherlands government say the Sierra Leone government reluctant about it, I'll be the first person, and that will not be a statement from the Netherlands government, because it's not diplomatic and it cannot be said the way you've said it.
So the international media, or the report on this issue?
The media is free. There's liberty. I'm not a judge or a jury of journalistic competence. The international media, like you have freedom, you're subjecting me to news scrutiny for the benefit of the people. Everybody get freedom for report what they get for report.
But apart from the formal communication where the Attorney General in office do with the Netherlands, there was an internal investigation where government be saying they could do in all of these issues we get for do with Belarus. Now that make I be asked in your capacity if you updated as to waiting this investigation don't prove so far.
I am not updated of the latest, most so because I'm most times out of the country doing external affairs of the country. But I believe government is making effort, but I don't have the latest, as you say, in terms of the investigation. That falls under the purview of some other people for whom who are paid to do that job. But yes, it's the responsibility of the state for protect the image of our country. If we get a bad image, even as foreign minister, everywhere I go, it will be a stickler. So we don't want that, and we're all working towards making it better.
So what about the former ambassador to Guinea when I used to go Guinea Cam, Salonia, and is supposed for the under investigation? Waiting that for that matter there as well?
It's supposed for the under investigation. And my role as Minister of Foreign Affairs was to ensure, because it was protected by diplomatic immunity, forget him so that no harm will befall him inside Guinea. And he was brought to the country, and the aspect of investigation falls with the police.
So you are not beginning the investigation?
I'm not an expert in investigating matters of transnational organized crime.
But you know if the investigation is still going?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, when I came, I handed over the ambassador to the agency of government responsible for investigation. And whatever the outcome, look, the crime for which former Ambassador Bangura was accused for, former Ambassador Bangura was not caught with any contraband. A vehicle belonging to them, as I've said this over and again, was found having a contraband. And in law, I'm not a lawyer, but our understanding of how, lawyers then can say, then get what they call strict liability offense. When they catch you for do an act, you would engage at the spot, you're responsible for the commission of that particular act. And at that time, when those substances were found in the vehicle of the Republic of Sierra Leone's embassy, former Ambassador Bangura was not found with the drugs. So therefore, there's no, I not get the legal jurisdiction, or I'm not a court to say he was found guilty or not. No. So I brought him, handed him over to the competent authorities, and I believe the competent authorities, they also get the obligation for conduct their own functions and do what they for do with respect to former Ambassador Bangura.
Minister, let me talk about the major issue we make you there this morning, where according to the White House then website, the fact sheet, then say President Donald J. Trump restrict entry of foreign nationals to protect the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. Now that's the White House then website. And then get a list of country them, about 12, Salon make up of them. And waiting and talk about Salon, say, can you please, they say according to overstay reports, Salon gets B1, B2 visa overstay rate of 15.43% and F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 35.83%. And Salon get history for fail for take back the national them within can deport from the United States. What's in our government position on this?
So every nation gets in your laws, and the United States, as you read from the fact sheet of the State Department, then say for national threat, not so, and they also made mention of then say for other public safety and threat. And of course, if you get people where they can at your country, then come for short stay and they overstay, they will put pressure on your economy, and it can even lead to an unsafe community, because where you provide for 1,000 people and you have people, aliens coming from other countries illegally, then can't stay, the number will increase and it will put pressure on the goods and services of that particular locality, where it will cause insecurity. It's unfortunate that this don't happen, but of course we know it's not the first time this don't happen. It happened under President Donald Trump in first administration, who Sierra Leone become under, in fact, a more severe, a temporary ban, where in fact been get for target even some categories of we society, whereas this is a blanket temporary suspension. It's unfortunate because I saw it all over the news. I wasn't in the country. It wasn't too pleasant and appealing. And yes, it's the case. The two reasons why they state for Sierra Leone, one being the overstaying of nationals, where they get these categories of visa. And you see, they were very deliberate in saying, historically, we don't deny for accept with people them. Now, you remember I was here a few months ago when we got inklings, say, Sierra Leone was in the amber phase, which has now led to actually this proclamation of us being temporarily suspended, the issuance of visas temporarily suspended for these categories. Now, the past 3 months, let me even go say the 2 years that I've been Minister of Foreign Affairs, every identified citizen with the United States, then ICE department don't say this person is a Sierra Leonean, they've overstayed, we want to send them to Sierra Leone. I have cooperated fully. Why? Because a Sierra Leonean is not only identified by birth with passport, a bearer of a passport automatically is a Sierra Leonean. So whether you are from Nigeria originally, you are from Guinea-Conakry, you're from Monrovia, as long as you went to the United States with a passport of the Republic of Sierra Leone, it is our responsibility to defend that passport. So in the past, we've had complications. And I remember, say, a few years ago, then deporting so-called Sierra Leoneans and we been bought Sierra Leonean passport, but we come out far away from the world. When they came, they could not habitate because not to hear them come on. So we had difficulties with that. And I think the one that we don't come before, government before now, we are always hesitant for bringing people who are not able to integrate well, we will pose insecurity to community. But what did me say? I said, no. The thing is legal. If somebody has our passport automatically, it means they're Sierra Leoneans. Whatever way they get them, whether through naturalization or by corrupt practices, we get for whole self responsible for having a system that is flawed. And now I have accepted all deported people in this country because it is the right thing to do. If we get a person from the United States, we also do overstay one for send them out. The United States for acceptance, as long as they get passport. But let me tell you, this is very historic. During the war, many people came to Sierra Leone and get Salon passport through then resettlement programs. The United States, in essence, technically, they give asylum. Then go to what they call temporal protection status. So now these them they give many people when they go as refugees from Sierra Leone. But most of these people, the American dream, not be able to actualize then citizenship and then permanent settlement. So if you find out, say, the past 1 year, many of the people that don't come not Salon back, I tell you what, they've been in the United States for well over 20 years. For well over 20 years. An increased search for this non-documented alien don't lead to this mass deportation of people with a bear Sierra Leone passport or historically got Salon passport. So, our system has been such that people, they abuse the privileges of visa. And let me give you a story. Last United Nations General Assembly, I put a measure on the ministry. I say, every ministry, agency, and department where they send for application for visa for go for the United Nations General Assembly, that particular note verbal where they go to the embassy of the United States, I must have a copy. Not only I get a copy of the note verbal for verify, but I must also scrutinize the list for ensure see those people are really going for those programs. You understand? And I discovered, to my chagrin, to my dismay, one of the permanent secretaries of a certain ministry, he sent 3 passports to them. He said these are senior directors of the ministry concerned. But they were all ordinary passports. And then it been sealed and enveloped. And then the number where they put the memo, I call the permanent secretary in question. I said, Mr. Permanent Secretary, I'm in possession of 3 passports. I say, and these are your senior directors. He says, yes. I say, Mr. Permanent Secretary, there is no way senior directors in your ministry will not have service passport. I say, can you come and explain to me how your 3 senior directors will be traveling to the UN, and your ministry, as far as I'm concerned, has nothing to do with the United Nations General Assembly. And that was how we caught that. I made the reports that it was criminal, and I did not feel they deserve to be sent to the United States Embassy. I am the custodian of the consular section. It makes me feel very bad because as the custodian, now truly everything they pass, and if those things they happen, historically people they overstay, like business visa, it's not applied through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Student visa is not applied through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Visitors visa is not applied through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. What we do is government. So when people are going to overstay, you cannot put it squarely on the government. It's the integrity of the consular, the integrity of the privilege conferred on us, where we people in the misuse. So at the end of the day, the effective and collective punishment, now every Sierra Leonean, they go to get right now.
Just bring me to the next question. Say now the righteous and go get for suffer for the wicked, but we have a whole embassy now the United States today. Looking at waiting and suppose for they do this issue of overstay, waiting exactly the embassy did they do for ensure say Sierra Leoneans them we can go there, not go and overstay, because now when they don't do the restriction, the ban they come on everybody.
Exactly, the righteous they suffer for the wicked here. Let's put it in that kind of that platitude. Now, the embassy, the role of the embassy there is to protect and promote the interests of Sierra Leone. When private citizens go to the United States Embassy and then get a visa, they don't inform the embassy in Washington. When they overstay, they don't inform the embassy in Washington. The Washington embassy get less than 20 personnel. We're not able for check on Sierra Leoneans and overstay. That's not their job. The people will get the job. Now they don't bring up the statistics of, of a stunning 35.8% of people who overstay on those visas, and 15%. So I think what we get for do as a government is to encourage our citizens that when you go, when they give this visa, please represent we well. Ambassadors, foreign minister, every citizen of this country, they play an ambassadorial role for protect and promote the image of a country and the interests of a country. Let us, Sierra Leoneans, learn to respect laws. The laws of the United States say when they give visa, you know for overstay, you stay. But this has been the case, and the effect, like you said, the righteous suffer for the wicked.
Earlier, you talked that you tenure as foreign minister. You don't comply with correspondence, or don't they come out from the United States Department for Sierra Leoneans then where they want for send back come na the country because of certain reason them. And before now, list be don't come out of people them when a Sierra Leonean them where the US say then they send come back na the country. How far are they with the negotiation then?
So this temporary ban, then they review them every 90 days, every 3 months. I believe, say, irrespective of the, cooperating actions we don't take with the United States, and I'm happy you may have the United States ambassador to Sierra Leone, the Ghana media, and he will attest to that, since President Donald Trump came, when we get an increase in these deportations, we have been complying. We've been complying because it's the right thing to do, not because the United States is world superpower, no. It's because the law is the law. International customary law, international law in any shape and form is the law. It's applicable everywhere. So they comply not because of pressure. There's no pressure coming in. Let's talk about what are we going to do now and to which extent this don't affect people. A lot of people, they doubt, say, okay, those who have these visas cannot go now. Those who have had this visa before this particular ban proclamation was made, suspension proclamation was made, can still use them visa. But it's also very dependent on the airlines. Some airlines, they're not want to forget any problem with the United States, so they in panic, they'll put a blanket, say, okay, nobody fly on we flight. There are those airlines that are daring, we can say, okay, despite this, there's clarity. We can still get people in because this is what it states. For example, I know a few people who have traveled over the weekend through Air Morocco because Air Morocco understands, but there are also airlines then where I believe so one or two people, they don't deny them because those airlines are G3, they don't want to forget legal, they don't want to forget any legal matter, and they get a whole week or month for understand the extent in terms of implementation of the proclamation. But yes, I believe, say, in the next 3 months, when they go for look at all the credentials and all don't earn this couple of months since Donald Trump came, I believe they go review.
Enough, you don't start engagements with the U.S. Embassy now?
Well, when the thing happened, because I was out, it was the U.S. ambassador to Sierra Leone who first texted me, he was in the United States, and made it very clear that this action is independent of the United States administration, then view on the policies where they between Sierra Leone and the United States. This is an exclusive different issue altogether, and again, nothing to do with the nature, strength, and health of the bilateral relationship between the two countries.
There is this also confusion about people where maybe them passport they with the U.S. Embassy now, we want for do the application. Some man they say, should I proceed? Should I wait until we hear again another correspondence from the White House, just like this week come out so?
Until then, the suspension is a presidential declaration. B1JFM, the United States Embassy, not the issue, and after today to anybody, until the suspension is otherwise reviewed.
Salon among them country there, and for a Sierra Leonean now, the news they all over. Although you say this not gets anything to do with the international image, but for the fact that Salon
it does, and also you don't get anything. It will. It has implication. Every stain gets implication. But let us not take this visa ban as if this is the end of the world. The day of judgment for go heaven. There are 192 countries in the world. 192 countries in the world. If one country say your citizens are overstaying, and therefore we're going to suspend the issuance of visa in this category, other diplomatic and other categories of the visa where we believe say forget the highest level of integrity, for example government officials, that's with the issue, and because the onus is on the government to make sure say then the process is honest and the process is not going to be misused. For ordinary citizens who apply for visiting visa, business visa, are the pity with people then, because the actions of those who have overstayed and misused this particular privilege here, they affect everybody. People then they wouldn't get business in America. People then they wouldn't get business in and therefore the shuttle between the United States and it's going to affect them. There are school-going university kids them will forgo attend college this September. It's going to affect them. But we're hoping that remedies will be taken so that in the next 3 months of the review, would effect by God in power, they could be removed from this category.
Taken. Even the last time we get the ambassador, and plenty of people saw this coming. For so go for a point to then go eventually ban Salon citizens them from having visa for travel going to the US because the number be they grow. And it been talking I also say because the number they grow, then they restrict the way how they be even they get before the ban they come. At this stage, how prepared is the government for ensure say, particularly this part they talk with say Sierra Leone has historically failed to accept the removal of nationals? How prepared on a day at this time for ensure so the one that will overstay or the one that will get issues with for come back, then come back, because it's clear if they not come back, the number add, it go for be further restrictions.
So what I've done is historically failed to accept. Like I said, we've been accepting every identified bearer of a passport, Sierra Leonean, every day.
Not historically failed for accept?
No, but this data, then get the data. I cannot argue the data. 3 years ago, I was not Minister of Foreign Affairs. 15 years ago, I was not Minister of Foreign Affairs. When they say historically, this transcends the tenure of me being Foreign Minister.
Continuity.
No,
but
that's what I'm saying.
We'll speak to
but
the
that's
issue.
what I'm saying. Historically, we don't get problem for accept. Under my watch as Minister of Foreign Affairs, by the instruction of His Excellency the President, every Sierra Leonean who will get the responsibility for protect because their own Sierra Leonean passport will also have the right for bring them to the country if they are not deserving to be in another country, as the host country, they decide to return them. So that is why one part of the remedy, is would they accept Sierra Leoneans that have been identified as Sierra Leoneans who do not have legal status to live in the United States.
One thing where you boss His Excellency the President famous for, now we say in they travel a lot for rebrand Sierra Leone. Some of the issues there, how it affect President Bio in rebranding nation.
Let me tell you, Khadija, about 5 years ago or 10 years ago, everything out there about Sierra Leone is the war, Ebola, and all of that. Today, out there, most of the things about Sierra Leone is the role we play in the international arena. Our country's image has been rebranded. The state is like the human being, it's a persona, right? Always we get one or two challenges here and there, but that not for overshadow the giant leap we don't take from being a country of war context to a country that now sits in the Security Council for promote global peace and security, a country that plays a key role in African Union, in ECOWAS for peace and security elsewhere in the world. So these are things that we must celebrate. And President Bio in international engagement, also they bring quite a lot of benefit to our country. How you engage. For example, we have many embassies now in this country. The number of people where they go Hajj don't increase because more Islamic countries where don't come to this country, they provide opportunities for people to go Hajj. We don't see a lot of help with embassies and they help in this country, countries and through the embassies. That is because countries feel Sierra Leone is a rebranded place, a secured country, a country of the rule of law, and they can establish the embassies in this country. That is as a result of the president's international engagement in shopping out of Sierra Leone as a place for engage diplomatically, economically, and politically.
All right, let me look at the engagement then. You say you've not been there, but fortunately for you, the current U.S. ambassador in Salonia send you a text message and assure say we don't come back, you will start engaging the relevant authority, the law and see how na go. Ensure say una meet the threshold for let Salon come out under this ban after the 90 days so then will come back and review. What are your strategies, Mr. Minister?
Like you said, the ambassador came over the weekend. Myself come over the weekend. I have a 12 p.m. meeting with the ambassador today. Forget a full understanding of one, the implication of this, because quite a lot of people they ask questions. Who already don't get them visa, is it invalidated? And we have had people who have gone, and the suspension is clear. And for holders of the visa, we more or less it's like we're not issuing visas anymore for this category of applicant. And we will continue to engage. The ambassador will engage him today at government level. I get for meet the different people who are concerned, stakeholders in this sector, follow also engage and find ways how to remedy the situation.
So you assure the public say, based on the engagements and we unaga for the gets from now till the 90 days, you hopeful say Sierra Leone go be out of the countries and we get this partial ban?
Yes, we get for take actions, we get for engage, and I hope and pray that we are out of it.
All right, Mr. Minister.
But you know, before we move, all of us, because it's not a government, the whole they overstay. Now we the citizens, let's speak to our people who have overstayed for make them come back. Those we don't go, waiting time not reach it for overstay, but they make sure say they can in good time. All of this willingness from we the citizens them will help we for pull the country from this particular suspension.
Oh, you get plenty messages then. We don't come for you. Lot try for take some of them this morning. So you go respond. The first one I did take from Channel S Bar is say, hello Mr. Minister. Is the 2026 US DV lottery winners have been banned or restricted? Please educate the public because all the winners are confused with the announcement.
Look at small messages where don't come inside the program this morning, and at the Facebook page, this message where they come out from Issa Kagbo is how can Sierra Leone's foreign minister claim that the Dutch were merely asking about someone who looked like the man they were seeking when the facts suggest otherwise. The Dutch government made a formal request for legal assistance to Sierra Leone on January 31st. 1st, 2025, specifically to arrest Josh, a man allegedly convicted and sentenced to 24 years in prison for trafficking over 7 tons of cocaine. We are told that the Dutch Justice Minister personally spoke with the Sierra Leonean counterparts in March 2025 to advance that the request. Clearly, they were not operating on vague resemblance or suspicion. They were acting on a legal conviction and concrete identity and confirmed location. So what changed? Or was the foreign minister trying to mislead the public? Because by all indications, the Dutch already knew it was Josh they were after, and they said so plainly.
Lolo Gasparini, they say Timothy Kaba stands out as one of the most impressive ministers in the SLPP government under President Bio. He is intelligent, articulate, and consistently demonstrates a strong command of the issues. He is commendable and promising young man.
This one at the YouTube channel where Omar Umarade send, they say it better for you or that they come back and camp on this salon government. All right. Look at my message.
This one, they say Sierra Leone should not be used as a scapegoat in a global drug crisis that is driven by demand in the West. Let's shift the conversation to where the real volume and responsibility lie.
Kelvin Sisse said the problem with this government, we need to take responsibility for all the accusations that are coming from international communities. Please.
Fode Mustafa together say governance in Salon, it's about smooth talking. Officials trying to package issues nicely. This won't change anything. When New York Times broke the news, government came out as usual to refute and package it, but today the reality has kicked in, but they are still explaining the PR won't change anything.
This one from Abubakar Sidian Kekano on the YouTube channel. They say, Mr. Minister, how you go say we not go through harms where them violate with territorial integrity? Now harmless innocent citizens we protest on a soldier then can kill.
Eddie Grant, they say, Mr. Minister, these helps you are talking about from the embassies are not beneficial to the ordinary people. They are beneficial to politicians in power and their extended families.
Jibril Bangura said, Mr. Minister, Sierra Leone is currently facing credibility problems both locally and internationally under this administration. Why should we believe that what you're saying about Yenga is true?
Frederick Bilal Mansare, they say, good morning, Liberty TV. I want to thank the management and team for such an informative and helpful discussion. I truly appreciate the work you are doing to keep the public informed. Things in our country are getting worse each day. It seems we move from one problem to another without rest. For example, when we talk about boundary issues, there is a serious concern in a village called Waliala in Falaba district. People from Guinea are now entering and using our land, which is a big problem. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs really needs to pay attention to this situation. Also, I would like to ask the Minister of Foreign Affairs about the current relationship between the government of Sierra Leone and the United States. Lastly, the drug problem in Sierra Leone is getting out of control. The government must act quickly and do the right thing before it gets even worse.
Abraham Success Council, the AXE, who is representing Sierra Leone in the United Nations Security Council.
All right, Bangai Jr., they say, indeed, you are our next president of this country. But my question is, Mr. Minister, are people with existing visa before the proclamation allowed to enter the United States?
This one from Sirathula Mami is say, good morning, Timothy. Is the Dutch issue a contributing factor to the visa ban?
All right, more messages. This one from Mohamed Kamadi says, Mr. Minister, rebranding the image with drug trafficking and kush cartels all over the country.
Fudi Ature say they will never come back to Sierra Leone. The government needs to fix the issues.
Albert Fuji, they say, please, Liberty TV, kindly ask the minister how his ministry is trying to reach out to Sierra Leoneans in the diaspora. more so those who are not supporters of the political party in governance? Is the Office of the Diaspora still in existence, or is there a branch of this outfit in every mission abroad? No image of a country can best showcase than that of its citizens.
All right, to look at more messages, Mohammed Kamara, they say this guy is not honest to the people of Sierra Leone about the issue of Josh. Let him explain.
All right, more messages, but we come to the minister. Let him respond. If we get more time, we'll come back and take another set of messages. Mr. Minister?
Thank you very much, and I've kindly listened to the messages. It shows Sierra Leoneans are very participatory in this democracy and the affairs of the state, and thanks to Liberty TV also. And I think the messages are a reflection of what people really genuinely think about what is going on and how concerned they are. And the first message was a very lengthy one. Say they try for question when we say the shape and form of somebody. And I'm not an expert, and that's not my area. Yes, the Dutch government don't request. The government is working with the Dutch government for make them find a way for get whoever they are looking for. In this case, as you all mentioned, a certain Josh. And so that is not under my purview, and I'm very honest about what I've said. There's no window dressing whatsoever. It's of no benefit to me and the work that I do. And somebody asked for DV visa, whether I don't know what category of visa is that, and I'm not very au fait with that diversity lottery. And I guess any information then go give them citizen then the information through the means when they apply for them visa, then that does not fall under the day-to-day affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And somebody, they say the image of the country is soiled, Mr. Jibril Bangura. Well, as much as we focus on this down part of the image of the country, there are other positive things where they also raise the image of the country. And everywhere we go, we see people, they exclaim Sierra Leone as a country that is doing very well in the international stage. Somebody talk about land in Falaba. Whilst the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is one of the mandates now for also promote the sovereignty of our country and the territorial integrity of our country. But those things where they happen at that level, we get security and Ministry of Internal Affairs. We can deal with that. And I think those reports should be with the ONS and all of those other state authorities for make we will cut before and now and save people them from the kind of experience where Yenga they go through. And I hope say the community people then would all report to the different levels of national security at district level and national level. Certain gentlemen say, what about them we get the existing visas, B1 and all of these visas, as long as they don't issue them before the ban. I have been told by the ambassador of the United States of America that those visas are valid. Somebody say if the Dutch fugitive in issue, they contribute to this particular decision made by the United States. No, this is exclusively the United States is a world superpower. They will not hide reasons for which they don't take this action, and it's clear overstaying of our citizens and also historically refusing to accept identified Sierra Leoneans and within they on deportation list. And somebody say, how would they reach out, Office of the Diaspora, our embassies, they reach out to people. As Minister of Foreign Affairs, everywhere I go, I make it a point of duty to meet with Sierra Leoneans. And so there are many, especially areas where we don't have embassies. So I think these are the few that I have noted that came from the public.
And somebody just send message again at the YouTube channel. Abubakar say, interesting, police saying a Foreign Affairs Minister saying a police they in charge for Fen Josh. When I feel say the Holland government go left on a free. Na question where they ask.
Well, in say police and me say na police. But
yeah, because the last time we said we get police, I will ask the same question.
Yes.
You ministry now one part the ministry then wait them be say we ask for the update.
Yes, but the update is at the time when I was also in the studio, not so. Then when I asked the question, what is going on? I said the Dutch government don't write to the Republic of Sierra Leone. Within a legal investigation and prosecution, that does not fall under the purview of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
All of the issues here, how serious government it can, because if you take into consideration, as far as Trump is concerned, every nation for able to take care of their citizens, we for plenty of people like in Ghana country like the US try for overstay because they want for see greener pastures. How government they take their issues here serious in taking into consideration the current state of the economy where sometimes now that's one of the factors them where they make people and they travel and no one for come back.
Maybe you don't get US visa several times. Have you overstayed? Have you stayed? You know, come back. Not to in a studio right now and you do a fantastic job in this country. That answers my question.
Not be the same like other people.
Exactly, but there are people as well where they go United States. The document that they present through them bank statement and other things, they should say they have at least a basic way for make life in this country. It's a matter of choice, and the government cannot deter a choice made by an individual who individually applied for a visa and applied with document that will be attractive enough for me to get the visa. How will government take responsibility for people who they overstay? For me, government go in the United States and go begin hold people there and hand over to the United States government, say they don't overstay. These now citizens there when I push them, then go to our country. Government is limited by resources and capability for do so.
What you go say to somebody who will say maybe the conditions not favorable for Sierra Leone and then for come back home?
Home is home. The Sierra Leoneans are, statistics show so they 8 million Sierra Leoneans. I don't believe so we'll get up to 1 million Sierra Leoneans where they're outside of Sierra Leone. So it means 8 million Sierra Leoneans believe, say, their destinies in this country.
Let we look at, as a government, una also get a responsibility, Mr. Minister, for make home be home, as you say, for citizens, because you get a lot of country them where not they part of this list. But then citizens and then they go and come back na Sierra Leone. But when you look at Sierra Leone problem, you look at the issues affecting the youth. There are many, you might not agree. But how
why won't I agree?
But how una as a government go ensure say una continue for give the enabling environment to una citizens then in terms of jobs, in terms of getting the basic amenities where they part of the social contract so una can sign with citizens.
Khadija, we're
this
living.
Is you talking now as a politician, not a foreign minister.
No, I understand. We're living in very hard times. 62 years after independence, Sierra Leone don't see a lot of challenges, from maladministration to civil conflict to diseases and all of that. But we are progressing. Fact of the matter is we are not retrogressing. We're moving ahead. Today, 20 years ago, you and I will not be sitting in a studio with a known address. Would they talk about government? Would they talk about governance? Would they talk about the welfare of citizens? But today, we do this in a free country. So we're progressing. Rome was not built today. The United States, that is fashionable, now a country with only over 200 years. Some countries have been for centuries and even not even millennium. This society, the modern society of Sierra Leone, is less than 25 years. So we've made progress. It is the responsibility of government to provide the physiological needs for the citizens of the country. And I believe state government is making every effort. The president launched a free quality education program for ensure say we build the human capital of this country. It's not going to be immediate. It's a progressive investment in the citizens of our country. So this suspension, not really they define, put it, the entire economic condition of a country. Take, for example, there's a country, Equatorial Guinea, is on the list of banned people going. If you go to Equatorial Guinea, and no matter the question, where people they question the democratic credentials of that country, but there is palpable development. People are not living in abject poverty, right? And so, yes, it's the responsibility of government. Let's all continue to play our part. Let us not focus on temporary suspension for certain visa, then for go United States, as if that is the indication of the failure of our state. Our state is not a failing state. Government is working. The citizens of our country They enjoy some sense of liberty. When they move to this country, there is security, there is peace, there is hardship amidst that. But one day at a time, I pray that we're able to address those issues of social discomfort where they affect people.
I still bring you back to the issue of the image of Sierra Leone. From where you are sitting now, as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, you satisfy with the gains which Sierra Leone they make internationally?
Absolutely.
Amidst all the challenges where they happen now on the global stage?
Absolutely. Like humans, the state is not perfect. The country is not perfect. What would they talk about? The main thing we talk about today is suspension, not to one person. Now we are citizens. They say Sierra Leonean citizens. And they don't say the government of Sierra Leone has overstayed in the United States. Citizens of the Republic of Sierra Leone. So we all got to make efforts for rebrand the image of our country. So far, what we do at that level, I think it's good because we're moving from A to B, from B to C to Z.
When we talk about the UN Security Council, we still say a sister country just don't take over Sierra Leone. And during your tenure, nice Salon hold this particular position. How una left the Security Council handing over to Liberia?
We have not left the Security Council. We're still in the Security Council.
The leadership?
No, well, as a member. Liberia is being elected as a member. We therefore take a seat, a non-permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council in January of 2026. Sierra Leone's tenure continues up to December 31st, 2025. I feel proud that Sierra Leone's contribution in the UN Security Council in this 1 year and a half don't get a lot of impact on many conflicts in the area, on many other issues where they affect the world in security and peace.
Still on the United Nations, as we talk, we know say the President de France for attend the Third Ocean Conference. We don't spark a lot of debate again at the media, say the President are participating at this kind of event, waiting in mean for Salon, where perhaps if we don't send somebody.
Look, it's a summit. It's at summit level. And when they say summit, it means now heads of state. Sierra Leone is, it may not be an accurate statistics, but a large portion of the Sierra Leonean, of the circumference of our country, not the Atlantic Ocean. We don't see quite recently, where they get seaweed, they migrate, they come, now the shores of Sierra Leone, the coastal line, they destroy economic activities. We are a country under threat of global warming. On the University of Notre Dame, the scale of vulnerable countries to climate change, Sierra Leone is one of the 20 countries where vulnerable to the convulsion of climate change. Shouldn't we be worried about that? It's a national security issue, and the participation of the president at that highest level for discuss the impact of climate change on oceans and the impact of these things where they happen to the ocean on we social life and the future of our country. If the president can attend it at that high level where world leaders will articulate the challenges, I don't think we should.
Mr. Minister, I sure say you follow Sierra Leone social media. You are not that busy. You did participate, and you don't see sometimes how citizens can react to some of them traveling there. So where His Excellency the President they make. One popular question at that, if President Bionoge foreign minister for the represent na then kind travel there rather than in they go all the time. Are you that busy?
When you do a good job, more job will be given to you, right? I'm busy. I get family. I'm all over the place. Not traveling just for the sake of traveling, attending statutory meetings. Maybe 20, 25 years ago, the foreign minister of Sierra Leone during the war, they only travel even the travel now for fend peace for Sierra Leone. Today, we are not in a war context. We are a major player in the international scene. We get statutory obligations to international organizations. I attend those meetings. And meetings where heads of states therefore attend. Because of the role Sierra Leone is playing in international space, it's just too right that the president attend those meetings. I understand the concerns of citizens. Mrs. F, I will tell you there are some meetings I attend. I buy the ticket from my pocket because they are statutory. The fiscal space is very tight. You cannot wait. For example, if I don't go ECOWAS, the trip I made, I went to ECOWAS to represent the president. I had to leave ECOWAS to go to Lusaka. Make the president go approve the executive clearance for that travel to Lusaka. The president was not in the country. I had to dip into my pocket to buy the ticket because it's a very important statutory matter. There are some cases where I don't get reimbursement because I don't even get the time for the justification for that. So what we're doing, we're all contributing to promoting the image and interests of our country. You still get a role where they play pro bono. What you're doing, I'm not paying you for that, but you're doing it because you know Sierra Leoneans. Why you smile was I pay you for that? But that's absolutely what it is, right? We all get ways how they contribute for promote this country, for make sure say things are better for our people.
So from 2018 to now, where the presidents don't fly, you can quickly remind Sierra Leoneans of waiting now the benefits where they don't bring come to the country.
Oh, come on, Mabel. The benefit, your country is sitting in the Security Council, helping. Remember, on the 7th of February 2000, now the Security Council will pass a mandate for men and send peacekeepers, other members of the international system, where Canada's country for can restore peace and democracy in this country. If we are not part of that international community, it will not happen. Nations of the world contributed their resources for disarm, reintegrate people in this society, and for support the country for go before. If you say most nations when they give it then tear for nothing they do, then they give it then tear because of the relationship we'll get. And then they, for example, can go into international organizations where we can partner with the people that help with voting and all of that. If you're not in those organizations, you may not be relevant to many of these countries. This is how the international system plays.
There's this very interesting message we come for you. Chuku Emeka Taylor. They
My
say,
good neighbor.
Progressing since independence. Please define, for instance, a cell at factories, and we produce nearly all of our consumables some 30 years plus ago. We might be turning the clock back to our glory days, but progressing?
Yes, as far as I know, we're progressing. I am a product of the civil conflict. 30 years ago, I may not even have, perhaps I not even know what in the things that were going to happen at the country. I mean, get sense in the 1980s when Sierra Leone was in a despicable social state, okay, which culminated into the civil conflict. Then we had 12 years of dastardly, atrocious conflict in this country. We come off from war context, we begin progress. We've had democratic elections, successive democratic elections, where power on 2 occasions don't move from the incumbent to the opposition. For me, that is progress.
All right, before you left me, Mr. Minister, you get a message?
I just want to read this Alusan content message. It says our passports are in the hands of non-Sierra Leoneans. They acquire visas and overstay. It's the responsibility of the government to protect our passports from the hands of the wrong people.
I agree. Say some people bear our passport. We not get nothing to do with the passport. We must raise the integrity of we passport issuance for make sure say we country in passport remain for be a very important document when nations of the world go respect.
All right, Mr. Minister, we wrap up now. Which you go left to a Sierra Leonean, we don't win DV. They above say they can't go, but as it is now, I don't know in faith, and maybe a Sierra Leonean we don't apply for a visa. As of now, I don't know in faith. What you go be your words to Sierra Leoneans?
Well, the one that we talk about the DV, I wish them well. It was a personal venture, and dealing directly with the State Department of the United States through the diversity lottery process. Whatever the outcome may be, if they give them visa, they accept them. I wish them well. If they don't, it's unfortunate and it's a sad thing. But I wish them well in any other thing that they do. With those who don't apply, of course, there's suspension. They should expect that the United States Embassy in Freetown will not go against a presidential proclamation.
All right. Many thanks, Mr. Minister. We join with this morning for can talk about government position, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
It's the engagement and negotiation. Then we go start with the the U.S. Embassy now, hopefully after the 90 days, according to which you say, then go review and pull Salon under this ban. Well, that's now be the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Alhaji Musa Timothy Kaba. We've been there. I talk about plenty things them we get for do with how Salon they participate at the international stage, and also it don't tell we waiting a government position as it is now. They hopeful say with some of the things them and engagements the way it will begin do with the U.S. Embassy in Salonia after the 90 days when they go review some of the restriction there Salon go come out under the but it is now. Nothing no day where government gets for do. Well, now they end the breakfast show for today. Many thanks to the production team, Musa Saokoma and Dennis Kamara. And then the technician, they will support the production team. Mina Khadija Bangura, they say continue for Watch Liberty TV as this is the only digital platform where they get accurate information, but all waiting they happen at the country. Have a blessed day.
And of course, throughout the day, now with different platforms, them we go for the bring down different content them. So stay glued, Liberty Online TV. Until we meet again, maybe